to Unit 6, Lesson 10. In this lesson, we're going to learn some left-hand techniques for slurring notes. And what it means to slur a note is to simply not pick the second of two notes. So I'm going to play one, and then we'll talk about what I'm doing. So here's what a slur sounds like. I'm going to pick it once, and then I'm going to get a second note by doing something very fancy. All right, so here we go. So the first one I want to demonstrate is in figure 610-1, and that's a hammer-on. And I'm playing on the 4th string. And the trick to playing a hammer-on is to make sure that the speed of your finger moving toward the neck is very quick. It's not about how long after I've picked the open string. We don't have to be in a hurry to do it, but when we put our finger onto the 2nd fret, it needs to be in very quick motion. So I'll demonstrate. Here's the open string. My finger is ready above the string, and I'm going to hammer on. And I'm really hitting it hard enough to get that note to sound. I'll do it again. I could get it to sound by simply hitting my finger hard enough. But really, the best way to do it is to pick the string open and hammer on. If I go too slowly with my finger, it kills the note. Here's the demonstration of what not to do. Pick, slowly put your finger on the string, kills it. So you got to be, I equate it to a woodpecker pecking a tree. It's very quick motion. And the other thing that's really important is this, if you remember our 3 P's, position, placement, and pressure, that we want to be right behind that fret, and we want to have the fingertip coming down to get a nice clean sound. So that's a hammer-on. And that's hammering on from an open string to a fretted string. You can also hammer on from a fretted string to another fretted note, and when we do that, it's important to keep the initial note fully engaged before you hit the 2nd note. So I'll show you. I'm playing the 2nd fret on the 4th string, and then I'm going to use my 3rd finger to play the next note. But if I let up on this 2nd finger before I hit that 3rd finger, it's going to kill the note again. So we want to let it ring. Now usually in practice we don't wait as long. I'm doing that for demonstration. Usually a hammer-on will be played about this speed. We usually don't go and wait a long time, but I'm doing that to demonstrate so you can clearly understand. Okay, the next technique is just the opposite, and it's called a pull-off. And I'm going to start on the fretted 2nd fret, and then I'm going to pull my finger off, and I'm going to pull it slightly downward, and that almost picks the string with my left hand. I'll do it again. And what you want to be careful is that you don't bend it too far, because when you pull sideways, don't bend the note too far. Just let your finger roll off it and kind of let that string get picked. I'm not picking it with this hand. Let me show you. So that's a pull-off, and again, you can do the same idea with a fretted note, but here you really have to be sure that you have that 2nd note engaged fully before you pull off. So I'm playing the 3rd fret. This is figure 10-4. Okay, now you can combine those techniques into what we call a hammer-on pull-off. And so I'm going to do that here. And then we can also do a pull-off hammer-on. So a hammer-on pull-off, I'm going to use the same notes we've been using. I'm going to start on the 4th string open, and I'm going to do a double hammer-on. So I'm going to go to the 2nd fret and then the 3rd fret, and then I'm going to pull them off so we get this sound. And that's a very difficult thing to do, especially on an acoustic guitar. So just if you're having trouble, just be patient with yourself. The other way is to start with the fretted note and do it backwards. I'm going to pull off and then hammer on. In this one here, because I'm not picking this open string, there's a little bit of time is of the essence. So if I wait too long, I have to really hammer on hard to get those notes to ring. You might hear electric guitar players do that to be fancy. Okay, so that's one way that we can slur. And slurring means to simply pick the note once and then get 2 notes or more out of a slur. And a slur is notated with the little arced line over differing notes, as opposed to a tie, which looks just like a slur in standard notation, but the 2 notes are the same pitch. So when you see the 2 notes the same pitch, it's a tie, but when you see it across notes of different pitch, it's a slur. Okay, the other way to slur is to slide when you do this. And so I'm going to demonstrate, this is figure 10-7, and so I'm going to, and usually you don't do this from an open string, so I'm going to start with the 2nd fret, and I'm going to slide to the 3rd fret, and you'll notice there's going to be a little squeak, especially on the acoustic guitar. You wouldn't hear that on a plain string. But I'm only picking it once. And the way you do that is to leave that finger fully engaged. Interestingly, it's much harder to slide down. And the reason is, when I slide up, I'm going to go a long way. I'm going to go up just so you can hear. And I'm getting a lot of squeak out of that string. If I do it on a plain string, you can hear it dying off because there's only so much energy in the string, but at least when I'm shortening it, I'm having less string to vibrate. When I go down, it'll die much quicker. It loses its energy going longer. So a downward slide slur is a little tougher to do. Now if you're only going 1 fret, it's fine, but if you're trying to go a number of frets, it'll die out. But it's a nice effect. So again, from the 2nd fret, I'm using my 3rd finger on the 4th string, and you just got to keep that finger fully engaged. Everybody worries about the squeak. That's just part of being a guitar player. String squeak, especially when we're sliding. So, all right, so you can practice those techniques, and we will see you at lesson 11.